Welcome to the Loveability Podcast. My name is Jennifer Styers, and I'm here to talk love, relationships, sex, marriage, and everything in between. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Loveability Show. I am your host, Jennifer Styers, and I have my co-host here today, Christine Hamilton, joining me.
Nice to be back.
This is fun. I have instant communication. So this has been much more enjoyable to do this podcast with feedback. I always rely on you guys, but welcome. We are on our official second podcast with my co-host now.
Hey.
So everybody, I started thinking about what would be an interesting topic, what would be a relevant topic, considering we're entering into, it's the holidays right now. People are pretty chilled. I was telling Christine the other day that not a lot of people date during November and December. It's kind of one of those months that people, the holidays are here. They're seeing family. It's a hard time to start. It's a hard time to start a relationship because then you've got the holidays. Do you introduce them to family? Now you've got the awkward, my family's here, or I'm going to see my family. And not a lot of people want to do that, nor should they. Right. And then you've got Christmas, and then there's the Christmas gift, and God, with the prices of things in the economy. Nobody really wants to buy a Christmas gift, an expensive Christmas gift for somebody they may or may not be dating down the road. So holidays pose kind of a weird time for dating. So people kind of dabble. But I figured as we're approaching this season, we might as well utilize the time to get healthy. To do self-reflection, to learn, to grow, right? And to get better so that when we hit the ground running in January, which is when it all picks back up, when you hit the ground running in January, you have it all together, right?
Okay, I like that.
Okay. All right. Well, she's on board with anything, so she has to be.
I think I'm going to focus more on internal health this month because all the festivities and things, and I like to indulge. So inner health, how's that?
Got it. Yes. Yes, I know, the indulging too. That's the other piece.
Right.
We're both Italian, and, I grew up Italian, and my mom cooks the healthiest Thanksgiving. I never indulge on I never get fat on Thanksgiving because my mom always has a really healthy, if we have a sweet potato casserole, that's the most fattening thing on our table besides pie after.
And that's my favorite side dish.
Homemade.
I like the marshmallows on top, and I simply eat the marshmallows with a tiny scoop of sweet.
We're the same person. We are the same person. It's stupidly crazy with the way we eat. We're the same people. That's what I do too. And sometimes I'll throw it back in the oven and get the marshmallows toasted even more, and then eat the marshmallows. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I wanted to talk about today was why you're not getting a second date. And this is super important. It's a super important topic because a lot of people go on first dates and they don't get a second date. And there's two reasons why. Either number one, it's you, or number two, it's them, right?
Right.
So let's just say you're choosing the wrong people, right? That's a them, right? You're choosing the wrong people.
Right.
That's kind of a you too, but it's a them thing. So we'll hit both of those kind of things because there's lots of factors that can go into the you and them. Is it my fault or is it their fault? My responsibility or their responsibility? And I think one of the big indicators or problems, challenges, is that people don't always present themselves the way that they should. Right. So people don't always present themselves on a first date authentically. And maybe it's because they're getting a picture online. right? So they're online dating, they're getting a filtered picture, right? And if you're somebody filtering your pictures, you're not helping yourself because
Absolutely not.
no,
It's just not fair to anybody.
no,
Just be real.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, not fair to anybody
Right.
if you are filtering your picture because now you're forcing them to you to show up and they look at you and they go, "You're not who you said you were." And now they've got to endure a date with resentment.
And you don't want anyone to show up and be disappointed.
Right.
Because then that's just so
That's the worst.
right.
I mean, if
sabotage, truly.
if we could always show up to a date and the person on the other end of the table says to us, "You know what? You look better than your picture," then you're good.
I have heard that once.
Yeah.
That was the end of the best part of the date.
Yeah.
It was still a no. But it was a nice compliment. What a shame.
Oh, well.
No.
Well, anyway, but that's always the goal. So no fake pictures, guys. And that goes for men too. You guys do it too. So, false profiles. You know what a problem
And
is?
updated pictures.
Updated pictures. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Up-to-date pictures. One of the things that I love AI, obviously, I have an AI app, for matchmaking,
Mhm.
but the thing with AI is they're using it in these apps now. They have it available for people where you can actually write your profile and write out things about yourself with the AI. So using the AI, that's not real either because there's a
Right.
lot of people that can't communicate. And I'm just telling you, there's lots of people that can't write, that can't communicate, that are horrible communicators. I would want to know that up front.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you are who you are, and someone's going to either embrace you for
Yeah.
you being yourself or not.
Right.
I mean,
And if you're weird and awkward, show it, I think
right.
I think if we've learned anything at all in the last 4 years, and I say 4 just because I feel like we've gone through a lot of evolution.
Right.
And authenticity is the best. Every single person is weird. We're all weird in our own way.
Right.
We're all unique
Idiosyncrasy.
in our own way. Yeah, all unique in our own way. And, the more we can embrace that, and you know what, Christine, I will be the first to say as I've gotten older, it's something that I embrace wholeheartedly now. Like I literally throw it out there. Like this is who I am. And if you don't
Right. Well,
I mean, you have to.
that's who you are. That's and really the way I look at it is I want someone to present themselves truly as who they are, and I want to do the same. Otherwise, we're just wasting each other's time.
Exactly. Especially on a first date too. I mean,
Right.
I hate to say this, but if you're showing up not as yourself, and I hear this from people, this is the thing that shocks me, everyone, is I'll hear people say when they went on the first date, "Well, I didn't tell them that because I wanted them to like me. I mean, I was trying to put on a good first impression. And I didn't want to let them say that on the first date and, risk turning them off." You know what? That's exactly what you need to say. That's exactly what you need to do is be yourself. Because you not being yourself, number one, somebody can sense that you're hiding something.
Right.
Totally.
Right.
They can sense that you're hiding something. And number two, they at least get to make a choice. So if there's something that you need to tell them or there's something about you that somebody should know, you've got 5 kids from 4 different dads,
That's complicated.
right, whatever weird thing you may think would chase somebody away, you got 100 cats, whatever you think might chase somebody away, you definitely want to say that up front, right? You want to tell somebody that up front because why waste dates, time, and somebody else's energy and trust, right?
Well, and at the same time, though, as you and I have discussed often, it's a balance because you want to be real, you want to be yourself. And I tend to say everything and have very little filter, but there are some things you wait as the intimacy grows.
Yeah,
that comes to mind as you're saying that too.
Yeah.
So
It's a balance.
balance. Absolutely.
It is a balance. Yeah. No, it's It is. I think the one thing I would say to people is that we have to listen more than we talk. We're not going on a
Mm.
date for somebody to like us. The whole goal of a first date is not for someone to like you.
What is the goal?
The goal is to get to know that person to see if they're potential. The reason you're going out with them is to see if they're potentially somebody you could be with long term. What are you finding out about that person on that first date that allows you to see,
Hmm.
are they long term?
Right.
You know, is this someone I could date? Are our values aligned? Are our lifestyles aligned? Do the things that we believe in align? The big things. I mean, are we covering religion, family, politics? These things are important. Are they aligned? Don't be afraid to talk about them on a first date. I think
Absolutely.
the other piece of this is people hide their past. So people have shame about divorce. And don't I mean, over half 50% of the population is divorced people, and some people have multiple divorces and and had marriages. So it's who you are, right?
Right.
And guess what? If you've been married 5 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, I can promise you, number one, that's a red flag. Okay.
I think so.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
red flag. But I've also met people that have been married multiple times that have come in for coaching, counseling, and they've understand it now. So if you've been married 5 times, at least be able to throw it out there. And I would do it on a first date. I would say, you know what? I have a lot of experience. I've been married 5 times. And even though that seems like a lot, and I've probably red flags to you, I want you to know that I've done the work. I know why. And I know why I chose the people that I chose. And I know who to choose now. And now you've just turned that into a positive.
Absolutely. And that's something that's so lovely to find in a man or a woman, someone who's really willing to dig deep, find out what their issues are, and go to work on that.
Yeah.
So, we all have things that we can improve.
There's that whole saying of emotional intelligence is like the new sexy, right? It is. There's some things that are more important than looks. Number one, intelligence, intelligence, actually
Right.
being smart. And then the other piece is emotional intelligence. And that is one thing, guys. I'm going to just give you guys so many kudos here because I feel like more men are emotionally intelligent these days than women. I said it, women. I did, and I love you, ladies. I do. I do.
Where are they?
They are everywhere. But
Okay.
I'm having these conversations with men that are at another level these days, and I have been for years. After COVID, there was a shift, and men just woke up and realized that they didn't want to waste their time in their life, and they wanted to have meaning in their life. The ones that were single or the ones that were married realized they weren't with the right person, some of them. And so I just feel like there was an awakening that happened with men, and that awakening didn't happen with women. And I've said it a million times on the podcast. It just
And maybe not with all women.
maybe not with all women.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't
Or-
necessarily think that women needed an awakening. So
Okay.
let me kind of
That's
kind of get in
clarification.
there because I think women were already emotionally intelligent, right? So I think men have caught up, and men are wearing it on their sleeve now, though, where women aren't. And you know what? I think the other piece of this is so many of you women, why you're not getting a second date, because your men will tell me that they know that women are playing games with them. I mean, I hear this from a lot of men that women are playing games now, where that used to be the man thing. And women, pretty women especially, they get on these online dating apps. You ladies have options, right? You have options. And especially on the apps like Bumble and stuff where you choose the man, you have options, ladies. There are guys, you know what's sad? I know so many great men that are on dating apps like Bumble.
Mhm.
They will never get a hit from a woman at all. They'll never get a yes at all from a woman.
Why?
Great. I have no idea.
Oh.
I have no idea. You
Mm.
ladies are superficial now. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but you got pictures. So a lot of these apps have pictures. So
Right.
you ladies are just scrolling through these pictures. I watched the people go through their phone. They're just like this. What did you find out about that human in that amount of time? I mean, that's so why aren't you getting a second date? Because you're choosing the wrong people. Why are you choosing the wrong people? Because you're putting milliseconds into the thought, into that decision, right? And the other piece of it is whatever happened to people talking on the phone before a date, right?
Right.
Or in between dates too.
Well, you know, maybe a little before a date, right? But certainly in between.
Yeah.
I mean, the communication is just this texting communication.
By the way, that is going to be our next show. I've already
Okay.
decided if I could
Okay.
if I could have piggybacked one on today, it would have been communication because it's so important. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. So you know what? If you want to know what you're getting, you could FaceTime somebody, Zoom them, whatever it is. Do a face-to-face before you meet them. See if the energy's there. I mean, how many of you did that during COVID and met people that way? A lot of people did. So what's stopping you from doing it before you go waste 3 hours of your time, 2 hours of your time, an hour of your time? And guys, if you're paying for the date, your money. Why would you go waste your money on a date with somebody that you haven't vetted? Vet her. Pull her up, ask her to get on a FaceTime, call so you can decide where to go on your date.
Well, then you certainly know if they're filtered or not.
You know if they're filtered. Right. Right. Exactly. So let's put a little bit more time and energy into the before the date. So the date itself, you're going into a quality date. I find it so funny too when people are meeting up on a first date, like I'll be sitting in a restaurant. I can always see I'll watch people at the bar, and then somebody walks in and you can kind of see them looking like, is that them? Is that it's so awkward, right? And the conversation's awkward from the minute they walk up.
Right.
Where if you do a call ahead of time, you guys kind of know each other. So you'll recognize each other when you see each other. You'll embrace, you can give a hug. There's not that awkward thing. Do a little something before the date, please. That would help a lot. And it's interesting. I'm a matchmaker, so I do a lot up front with people, right? People don't talk up front. I still keep that. I don't allow my clients to talk to people before the date because inevitably things get messed up. I'm going to tell you why. And that's why I'm going to go into the expectations piece of this, because this is why people get to see pictures, unfiltered pictures. They get to hear me talk about who they are. I tell this is who they are. This is their personality. This is their lifestyle. So I've vetted that person already, and this is why you're going to like them. So that's how that goes. So I've already done the work, and people have to trust me. When you don't have me, you got to do that yourself. But the thing about it is, here's what happens. So you start talking to somebody. Let's just say you meet a guy on Saturday night on Bumble, right? And you guys start chatting, and then you decide you're going to go out Wednesday night. Well, you say goodbye on Saturday on Bumble, right? We got our date set for Wednesday. Mary and John. Mary's sitting there on Monday going, gosh, I've got my date with John on Wednesday and I haven't heard from him.
Right.
Then Tuesday rolls around. Well, John got a date with John Wednesday and I still haven't heard from him. Wonder why. He's probably not thinking about it. He's probably out with other women, and probably just dating around and they start making up all these assumptions in their head. Women do it, not men. Women do it. And
we are notorious for
that. And you get in your head, ladies. Mm-hmm. And by the time a woman may or may not get to the date, she may cancel the date because she hasn't heard from him. But by the time you get to the date, worse if it's on the weekend. So you meet him and then you have to have a whole week that goes by. If the guy's not the communicator that you want them to be, if he doesn't say the things, I text him and he didn't text me back for 5 hours and that's unacceptable.
Or 5 days.
Yeah. That's a whole nother deal. But all the same, nobody owes you anything. You haven't met him yet. You don't know that person. So setting those expectations before you meet somebody sets that date up for failure. So you people need to not have any expectations for somebody. The first date is to get to know them. Let them show up, learn about them, ask questions about them, and then see if you like them, right? That's what it's about. It's not about making all kinds of assumptions during the date. And the goal of the date, if everybody's doing their job, right? Everybody's doing their job. I'm asking you questions, learning about you. You're asking me questions, learning about me.
Right.
we both feel like we were in, I'm interested in you, you're interested in me because we ask questions, right? Nobody monopolized the conversation. Nobody talked about themselves the whole time. There's a connection that's made. There's a connection, right?
Nice reciprocity to build the connection.
Yeah, presence. If there's a
Right.
presence there, people feel heard, understood. They know me. They're getting to know me. They care to get to know me. That's important. That's important. So make sure when you go on a first date, number one, you're present. You're focused on your date. You're not looking around at the restaurant to, who else is here, what pretty lady just walked by or hot man, right?
Right.
You're not looking at your stupid phone. For God's sakes, I don't know what my parents did. My parents went on dates every week when I was growing up, and they didn't have a phone to call the babysitter. And we did just fine.
You
know,
certainly have to.
all 5 of us are still alive.
Put it away. That's just
Yeah.
hurt anybody.
Yeah. I mean, unless you have a child or a family member in ER, right? Then leave your phone away and don't look at it. And if it is on the table, you turn it over, right? You turn it over. We don't sit and look at our phone. I can't stand that. I don't care if it's first date or people that are like married and they're on a date. When they're in a restaurant and they're having dinner together and the two of them are sitting there on their phone, I notice that all the time. It drives me nuts. And they sit on their phone and they're not even talking to each other. It's like, God. Yeah. So keep the distractions aside. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, as far as that energy of getting to know somebody, this is super important. So we want to ask questions that matter. Like people get on these first dates and it's all superficial stuff, right? And I promise you, if you just have superficial conversation about things that you love, things that you did, places you went, even though that's cool to have connections and commonalities and all of that, when you haven't gotten to know anybody's soul, you don't know who they are. You don't know, the things that they think about that keep them up at night. Not that there's there, and believe it or not, there's appropriate ways to even ask that on a first date. You don't know about their family dynamics. Are they close to their family? Are their parents still alive? Right? Where are their siblings? Are they close to their siblings? And guess what, guys? These are all red flags too. If somebody isn't close, they have their families alive and they're not close to them and they don't talk to them, you can just walk away with burning red flags, right? Because there's issues there. So finding out about somebody's life and their personal life is super important. Why don't people do that?
Agreed.
And I think the other piece of it too is it opens up that conversation. So let's just say somebody isn't close to their parents. Maybe their father was an alcoholic and, he left when they were 5 years old. I hear all the stories. Left when they were 5 years old. Then, you say, wow, how did that impact you?
Yeah.
Like, what was that like for your family? Like, how did your mom survive? Like ask the questions, be interested in it, because somebody revealing something that means something to them, that touches their soul, that meant something to them, that shaped them into who they are today, you are making a connection with them, an emotional connection. And when you make an emotional connection with somebody on a first date, that's what makes them come back for more. They feel known.
Well, and it feels so good when somebody has an immediate level of trust that they're willing to share.
Yeah.
And then that you in turn show, real passion for whatever they've been through.
Right.
Guys. And that connection feels good for everybody.
Right. No, you're 100% correct. The other thing is I think there's a flip side. I think there's an oversharing, right? People don't want to know, guys, what kind of car you drive, how much money you make, what your portfolio looks like. If a woman asks you those questions, guys, leave.
Yeah.
Walk away, leave immediately. Close checkout. Do you know, this has to be the worst first date story. A guy told me that he went on a first date with a woman. She had a couple kids at home. Should I tell you this in the last podcast? He goes on a date with somebody. She orders her meal. This is why she's ordering her dinner. She orders her meal, and then she orders 2 more meals, full meals at an expensive restaurant, like a steak restaurant.
Bring home to the children.
And ask the waiter to put them in a package to go. when she's ordering, like at the very beginning of the day. This was an attorney friend of mine. He told me this, and he literally said to the waiter at that moment, at that very moment, he said, we'll be having separate checks.
Good for him.
I know, right then.
I mean, who does she think she is?
She was appalled by that. She was absolutely appalled.
Well, she should have been appalled by her behavior.
Welcome to Dallas.
I don't know how you don't think you're going to get that type of reaction.
I'm seriously, like, I can't, I will tell, I wasn't sure if I already told that story because it is the most unbelievable story. I know you guys listening may have heard it because I know I told it. It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
But if a woman is asking those kind of questions, guys, on a first date, those aren't good first date questions.
Yeah.
Those aren't the in-depth questions that you should be getting asked and you should answer. They're questions about you, what you like to do, the best place you've ever visited, what's on your bucket list, you know? Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Bucket list. So anyway, but it gives you a glimpse into somebody's goals, their aspirations, their lifestyle, their dreams, right? And I think sometimes too, when you do that, you get to see how far apart or close you are. Because some people go, wow, that person wants to go, you know, to overseas as their bucket list. And I've been 100 times. Like I have, you know, it's just, I'm just saying it helps you see how close or far apart you guys are with your future.
Well, it does. And it also helps you recognize how willing you are to compromise and maybe change what you thought your future would look like if this is the right person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so great point, because we've had this conversation. If somebody doesn't have the exact same lifestyle as you, so for example, I'll use me. I don't like to snow ski. First of all, I kill myself because I'm a daredevil. I would put skis on and go down the highest mountain because I'm like, I'm going to go fast and get the adrenaline rush and go crazy and kill myself right into a tree. But second of all, because I don't like the cold. It's not me. I'm just not a cold person. So don't take me skiing. If you want to go skiing, it means a lot to you. I will go skiing with you. Let's bring friends so you have somebody to go ski with, and I'll stay and read a book.
Right.
Or get a massage.
Right.
And I'm 100% down with going somewhere cold where I can stay warm. Right.
There are options.
Yeah. But I think that it's so important to not knock somebody out because they're different than you or they like something different than you. Right. So yeah, super important. You know, I think the other piece of that is that, you know, you see, I have this question on my matchmaking questionnaire on my site that says, are you a homebody or hit the town? Right.
You do.
And I always feel like that's such an important question. And a first date is a great time to ask it because you get to see, like, if you're a nester and you like to be home and you like family and you like to cook and you like snuggling and watching movies and, you know, you're a home person and like to go out to eat every once in a while, but you're not an every night new restaurant trendsetter, the new hot place, meeting friends, drinking at the bar every night. If that's not you, knowing that you have that massive of a different lifestyle, those are big lifestyle change. Those are big lifestyle differences.
Right.
Yeah. Or a couch potato.
Some things are more insurmountable, right? Yeah. So you just have to dissect that a little bit.
Yeah.
Or bounce it off of a match.
But if it just comes down to hobbies or something, as long as you have an open mind, and the older we get, the more closed our mind gets, right? And so we have to be open to learning new things, going new places, learning new things, trying new things, right?
Maybe
not skydiving, but yeah. Now what?
Maybe not a complete gypsy, but
yeah.
Trying new things. It's great.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that's another piece, is not to write somebody off for that. So I think I've covered everything that I really wanted to cover. I think the other piece that I didn't get to was right at the beginning of my list of what we need to get together for a first date, and that's ourselves. So if we're not healthy and healed and available emotionally or, you know, physically available to date, don't go on a date. Don't date. I mean, it doesn't make sense to go on a dating app You go on Tinder because that's not really a dating app. That's like a hookup app.
Right. It's
Right.
simply a distraction.
Right.
And there's no intention behind that.
I don't know that people are on Tinder looking for love, but don't go on an app where people are looking for love if you're not healthy, if you're not ready and emotionally available. And people, you need to be looking for signs of that on a first date too. You know, somebody that hasn't been in a relationship for a long time, they've been single for 15 years and the longest, term relationship they've had in 15 years is a few months. I mean, you know, sorry, that's as red flag as it gets, right? So somebody who has been single that long that can't settle down, that can't, and they'll blame it on everybody else. I haven't found the right person. You'll hear that. I'm picky, bullshit, I mean, it's not that. I mean, we're all picky, right? And we're all looking for the right one.
Yeah.
But if the right one has been evading you for 15 years or 7 years or, 5 years or longer, to be honest, that you've had a long-term relationship, something's up. You're either not available or you're choosing the wrong people. Do the work, people. Do the work or don't date. Because the people that are on dating apps are most of them are looking to meet somebody. So that's super important. Did I miss anything?
I like that. No, and I think that's true. And, obviously there are exceptions to every rule. So if you're really interested, you dig a little deeper to find out what's behind it. But fundamentally speaking, yes.
So I love that she just said that because I can tell you one thing people do is they go on a first date. They've seen all the red flags. They've seen the red flags, but that person sitting across from them is pretty hot. They like what they're hearing. They like what they're seeing. So like you just said, well, at what point do you make exceptions because you like that person? What do you like about them? If you can't walk away with there's something in their soul, something about their character and integrity and who they are and what they stand for and their purpose in life, if you can't find something redeeming that goes beyond their looks and the chemistry you feel with them, don't do it.
But the chemistry is so fun.
Yeah, so I have this thing that when people go on a first date, when I have clients, and it's just one of my things, I've just noted it. People go on a date, they have this massive chemistry. When I get on the phone after that date, and that girl is going crazy, like, oh my God, he's so cute, he's so hot, we had such a great time, he kissed me goodnight, I can't wait to see him again. Oh my God, he's so amazing. But I hear that elation, I'm like, it's over. I'm like, how fast is this going to end? And what is it going to be like? And because I'm already looking for, oh, shoot, what went wrong? So, right.
And I wish you weren't such a consummate professional because that's not what any of us want.
I know. But it is what it is. And I can tell you, though, the ones that always end up in marriage, and everybody needs to hear this, the people that end up getting married are the people that go on these first dates, Christine, and this is so important. And they leave that date and they go, you know what? I wasn't super attracted to them, not really the type that I date, but I really liked them. The conversation was great. We had dinner. We stayed for 3 hours. We closed down the place. We laughed. He was funny or she was funny. I would go out with them again just because we had such a good time. That's the people that end up getting married. All the time, they're the people that end up getting married. So, and then all the time, again, I hate to say it, but every time that massive chemistry is there, it fizzles because people aren't seeing all the things that they need to see because that chemistry gets in the way.
Well, the honeymoon phase ends with everybody, so there has to be more substance.
Well, I think there's one more piece to that. Okay. I actually never talked about this, so this is good.
Okay.
I think there's some kind of disconnection that happens. So now we're all of a sudden really attracted to this person. They're hot. There's a part of us that shuts down. Maybe I shouldn't show him this. Maybe I shouldn't tell him this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. And we stop getting to know them. We always want to be in the process of getting to know somebody, building intimacy, which is not sex. By the way, the minute that you have sex with somebody, the minute you have sex with them, and especially if it's great sex, the relationship becomes about
you're just killing all the fun.
Sex. instead of getting to know each other. So be very careful in how you time that, because if you do like them and then there is that chemistry and there is that attraction and you do want to rip each other's clothes off, wait as long as you can, because once you go there, it's like you leave dinner and where the dinner was, maybe we'd go for a walk, maybe we'd sit at my place and have some wine and talk and get to know each other. It turns into walking in the door and ripping your clothes off, right? I mean, that's the way it goes. And we all know it. We've all been there. So then it takes away, then you're done. And then the night's over, right? I mean, nobody's interested in talking after that. Everybody has the energy after that. So anyway, don't do that. Don't go there until there's already some emotional intimacy that has been established. Ladies, I don't care how amazing you are in bed. I don't care. Men don't, you're not going to win a man by having sex with him and winning him over with your amazing talents, because once a man has conquered, he's done. He's done. And guys tell me this all the time. I've had many podcasts with men. Go back to my first one. I had a whole panel of men that go, yeah, I'll have sex with her, but I don't want to go on a second date with her because she's doing that with every guy. And interest is gone, because where do you go from a date to the most intimate thing you can do? Now you've got to go on a second date with them. How awkward is that? Where do you go from there? I don't know. I've never done it. So I don't know how awkward that would be, but I imagine it would be awkward if you already seen that person naked, right? Already done the nasty with them. I'm just saying. Okay.
You are killing me right now. I'm not going to lie.
We all need some water.
Dang, the studio's warm.
So sorry about that. But really, the conversation that happened, we're talking about first dates. Don't have sex on a first date, because it will kill your, by the way, guys. So for ladies, it's not going to win a guy over. Guys, let me tell you what happens if you have sex with her on a first date. All the expectations of a boyfriend are going to be there. Now you can't date anybody else. Now you're intimate with her. Now you're her boyfriend. Now you got to make all the phone calls. You got to, heat is on. So just don't do it. Okay. Well, now that we got all worked up, why don't we just end there?
Okay. And then another time we have to come back to that, because there's so much going on in, the hamster wheel up here to discuss.
With sex?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. So we'll table that.
We'll do a whole show on sex, because I feel like that is it's a great topic.
Okay.
It's a great topic.
Okay.
And we'll get there. It's not a quick conversation though, right?
It's no.
Okay.
No.
Well, guess what? We get to talk about sex for 30 minutes someday. Okay. We'll do a whole show on sex. All the guys are like, okay, tune me in.
We have to give you guys in for that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You know what? I think that's one thing that we can do at this studio, not this particular one, but at this studio, is we've got a place we can bring in an audience. It'd be fun to bring in men and women
For that topic.
for stories.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
For that one, because it's such a crazy topic. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't steer you guys wrong. I'm not trying to turn you into me or give you my values. I'm telling you from 30 years experience of talking to people, this is how guys feel after a woman has sex with them on a first date or a second date, by the way, too soon. And this is how a woman feels after after having sex. So it's a no-go. Don't do it. Build the emotional intimacy first. There's a lot to find out about that person. And once you've gone.
And the anticipation.
I know, right? That's the best part.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that? The tease, right? Yeah. Guys like that.
So do women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. That's why you'd go to strip joint. There, the men leave all their clothes on, right? Yeah, at least when I lived in Atlanta, the women took it all off and the men always had it on. So women don't want to see all that. Not yet. Not right away.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're, I don't know how we got in the gutter on this, but
Kind of always go to the guy.
I know. We're supposed to be talking about sex. So first date tips. Remember, just take your time, get to know the person. It's about them. It's not about you. It's not about impressing anybody. It is about making an impression, and the best impression that you can, right? Um, and getting to know them to see if there's potential. So take your time. All right, everybody, we'll be back next week with another episode of the Loveability Show.
Yay! Have a good week.
Have a good week. This is Jennifer. Thanks for listening today, and please subscribe to the podcast. Each show, we're going to have new topics and information. If you'd like to find out more about coaching or matchmaking, please go to my website at lovejen.com, or you can find me on my Facebook page, my personal page at Jennifer Styers.